We here at Cinema Art-e-curated, by we I mean Omkar and me Nikhit, believe that we should let our thoughts marinate after we have watched a movie, and that is 3 4 days. Like after 3 4 days, we should let out the review onto the internet so that like the audience can wait and form their own opinions rather than just gargle up someone else's opinions. So yeah, so that's why we are reviewing this movie after like 4 days of watching Kalki 2898D AD.
Or this is just a detailed justification of our laziness. Let's talk about the film in discussion.
Magnum
Yeah,
opus
yeah.
of YGNT cinemas, or the second coming of blockbuster Prabhas. Like to put it in short, I'll give you a two-line in review. It's a technically brilliant movie. Like they have put in the effort. Like we know, like it's been in the making for like almost like 3.5 to 4 years, and it's a technically way to like it doesn't feel like a Indian or per se like a Telugu movie that you have been seeing. I mean, like leaving Rajamouli
What
aside,
do you mean by that?
leaving Rajamouli's films aside, this is a technically brilliant movie with beautiful, like never before seen images, like frames actually, like be it with the production design or with the CGI behind. Yeah, it's a technically brilliant movie and it's a fun ride for the most part of it, but it does fall short with the writing aspects and aspects related to acting and writing. That's it. So that's my short review. And what about you, Omkar? What do you feel like? What?
I will share my opinions on the film. So, like you said, the visuals were great. The cinematography was not something you've seen in Indian cinema because the cinematographer was not Indian. But yeah, so you were saying technically it was very sound. But then I found a few shortcomings with the VFX here and there. Like in some areas, the scenes seemed not so good, weren't polished well. But coming to the performances, yeah, they did whatever was given to them well. But coming to the writing part, yes, that did fall short. Like in a lot of areas, given Nag Ashwin's writing is strong in a lot of films, and he does test millennials' attention span, but then he does well in most of his films. But in this one, I don't know, he doesn't uh, pull off as a good writer in this film, I felt. So let's start with the good parts of the film.
The cinematography is brilliant. Like so I'll
Mhm.
talk about the less talked about things. The costumes. The costumes
Mhm.
hit the right spot because though you might feel like it has been ripped off from Star Wars or Dune or anything else that you have watched, but there's a unique Indian touch to it, like with the uh, complex symbol, right? The symbol of
Mhm.
Yaskin. And there are some like indie aspects to the costume as well, with the like braces at like on the wrists
Mhm.
and with the like turtleneck thing. So it's a
Mhm.
futuristic yet very Indian in a way. And that's what I feel like the costumes, they aced it with the costumes. And you can see that with the uh, like production quality as well.
Like you said, the production designer who worked on Tumbad as well. So he did a brilliant job with the places.
Zihani.
Like he designed the set. Yeah, Zihani. He has done the sets and everything, especially the pre-interval fight scene where they fight in the ruins. So all those parts were great. Even Yasmin's complex and everything were great, I felt.
Oh, that was
But
brilliant.
uh, but I didn't
No
like
bads.
the guns in the
No,
film.
no bads. No bad.
So I would like to start from the part wherein the logo turns into a Kurukshetra battlefield. The movie starts right from there.
That was so
So
cool.
that was a really good touch in the start. So right in the audience are like very interested. What's gonna happen next? Like they started with such a bang. So I just want to see what happens. But then after that, there's a negative that I'll speak later. But yeah, that was one of the things.
Uh,
The cinematography was wonderful, as you said. Let's talk about the cameos that are there in the film.
oh man. I
So
mean,
which one was the most impressionable for you?
okay, for me, it was obviously SS Rajamouli. I like the quick wittiness
Okay.
of like, even though he was there for like 2 minutes, he had four witty lines, and four of them cracked me up. And I mean, Rajamouli is like a delivery. And also the delivery was way too good for like for a director who hasn't acted.
So obviously,
So what about you? What about, I know you
For
answer, but
I really like Dulquer Salman's one better. So it had a good importance to the movie. Like it had a good backstory lore. And I like those kind of things, like quick backstories that add to the character instead of stretching, because we know the obvious thing, like this is a very obvious story of abandonment and this thing, deceit and everything. But the way DQ portrayed it and the scene went, so it left a good impression on the audience. Like the story was there in my mind throughout, ki why Bhairava acts in a certain way because of his backstory, which they put it. And apart from that, there is RGV. I didn't expect RGV to be in the film. Like he suddenly popped up. I was like,
Chintu.
crazy like to get RGB for a cameo.
Yep, yep.
That was the last person I would expect in the film. Rajmouli obviously is my favorite, so obviously I liked him. And Vijay Devarkonda, that we need to address. Like he did a great job.
Okay, controversial, but
I
okay.
liked it.
So wait, since you like DQ's
Because,
cameo, right? I wanted to talk about something. So what I feel is the DQ story is like a foreshadowing of what Prabhas is going to be at the end. Like since we get a reveal at
don't
the
spoil
end
it.
that yeah, since we get a reveal, a certain mythological reveal connected to mythology
Uh,
of Mahabharata, and that foreshadow this like the DQ story foreshadows it like properly. That's what I feel.
There's another thing that I would like to talk about, which is the entry scene of Prabhas. So there we have a very good touch. No, not funny, but then do you know there's this Mahabharata speech of senior NT Ramarao that happens.
Yep,
So they
yep, yep.
converted it into a trap remix, and they play it behind the fight,
Fight
the
scene.
Bujji
Oh,
music
it was
behind
so
it.
good. Yep,
So
yep, I
so
agree.
that was done well. That was one of the good things. That was one
So
of the Nag Ashwin touches to the
So
film. He
yeah,
likes a
that's
lot
what
of
I was
vintage stuff
expecting, like to
uh,
come like ahead, like
throughout the film.
yeah, but there was nothing to talk about. We'll talk about that later. The only shortcoming with Bujji character was like that they could have fleshed it a bit more, so that like they could they I felt that they used it as a trope, like they were pulling like putting in Bujji as and when they needed it to like propel the story forward, or like when the fight happened and Bhairava needed to be saved and Bujji came in. So yeah, the writing could have been a bit better with Bujji as well. And also, can we start the bad things now? Because I have a lot to say about.
So Samaj, yeah, you already started the bad thing.
We need to talk about the first half.
Uh,
There are way too many problems with the first half. Be it with the exposition. See, the only problem is like we felt like there was way too much exposition, and it was see. Nag Ashwin, if Nag Ashwin was here, he would have defended it by saying I was world building.
World building.
Yeah. So the thing is, you have already built the world with all the YouTube videos, all the Bujji and Bhairava series on Prime and everything. There was enough world building and enough exposition there. Now, when we come into the movie, I know like all of this, what do you call canon or what OVAs in your anime language. It was very slow to begin with. After the fight sequence, you are just waiting for something to happen. Like you are just waiting for like the interval to happen, right? Because the story starts off like on a car, on a supercar, and then it goes forward like on a
On a
bullock
bullet
cart
card.
towards the interval bank. So yeah,
So,
that was my issue.
so
And what about you?
uh, I would defend Nag Ashwin a little, saying he, I didn't have problem with that much of exposition because we are used to things being explained in a fantasy story being said start mein. But my problem was he has only set up in the film. He doesn't pay off the information. That is my problem. I'm okay with you giving me information, but then do something with it. Like just don't give me the information and don't do anything about it. I know you are setting it up for the second part, but the first film should be enough for the people to enjoy, to go forward, and go and look forward for the second part. Your first film only feels a little bit incomplete, and that feels a little taken for granted. Like you're taking the liberty to take a whole film to set up for another film. So
Right.
that is just stretching it a bit too far. And
So
talking about exposition, so another thing that was missing was Disha Patni the second half. Where does she go? She
exactly,
disappears.
exactly that was what I was talking about. So the whole Tatakara song or the complex song, as they are calling it, it was so unnecessary. There was no need of that song. I know he might have wanted to like show us the complex, like what
Uh,
is in the complex. I know that's the
uh,
whole purpose of the song. But then if you are
there are
using
better ways.
if you are using a character like Rosie, and if you are using a song like Tatakara something to show all
Uh,
that, there are way too many better ways, and there are way too many better ways to edit it as well.
hmm, hmm,
Edit
hmm,
the
hmm.
song as well. It gives the feeling of 2000 Telugu movies that we are watching, like from 2000s. Like there's a random
Hmm.
song appearing for no reason just because the female lead and the male lead are isolated in a different world, or like are together in a very intimate space. There was no need for that song, and that though that song is shot beautifully, it's shot beautifully, and there
Uh,
are minor cameos as well there for the Telugu audiences.
Phew.
So, so yeah, that it was shoddily edited, shoddily shot, and they shot it like in March this year. He builds up the stakes so much, like I just want
Uh,
to like finish it off in second half, or like I want to pay it off in second half. It builds up so much that like you don't get
hmm,
that high in the second half as well. And there are like logical, I mean, when you cut a movie, there's a sequence in which
hmm,
you cut in, and it is edited by Kotagiri Venkateshwar Rao, who's a veteran as well. And coming
hmm.
from him, we don't expect the edit to be such shoddy, even with the fights as well, like the main last 45-minute fight as well.
It's,
So yeah,
also, talking about disappearing characters, what happened to the kid that the movie started? The kid,
he's
the
still there.
female kid, male kid, the
Yeah, they are still
ambiguity.
there.
But another con that I felt in the film was, I understand. First of all, the VFX of Amitabh Bachchan was a flop. Like he was the only enjoyable character in the whole film
Oh my
because
God.
he had a very good whole of a character, and I understood why he was doing certain things. And he was the only good character I felt like I could root for, and I was
Yeah,
enjoying every part that he was in. But
I
I want to talk about how I understand that you're making a film about Mahabharata and you're gonna reference it heavily. Just don't make the film only about you referencing Mahabharata. You made the film about that. Like, see, I'm referencing Mahabharata in this film. So you can rise above that. Like, you have a good story, you have a good world building around it. So why don't you use that rather than just banking on, you see, I'll just show you how this character is similar to Mahabharata and bang. So that is a little bit of milking the Indian audience, knowing that they'll watch whatever you show, like whatever you said, fantasy and reference Mahabharata. You know the audience will come.
the thing is, Amitabh Bachchan at 80, he
Hmm.
did such a commendable job, and Disha Patani at 30 or something does this. And that's my problem. And yeah, Amitabh Bachchan was like a very big positive to the movie. Like the
Hmm.
way they like the CGI, like the way they show him, like he's the huge Ashwathama, is like pretty much like the highlight of the movie after like
Uh,
no, I'll put Amitabh Bachchan first, then Prabhas, and then Deepika, and then
Obviously.
Kamal Hassan. Yeah, so that's like
Why
that. And
Deepika in third? Like I would put Kamal Hassan in third.
no, no,
I would put
because
Kamal Hassan second and then Prabhas.
okay,
Anyway.
okay. I mean, yeah, I mean, to be honest, they could have done it with anyone else. Like Prabhas was not needed at all. I mean, at some places we felt he was so huge for their like the canvas. Uh, you could have replaced him easily, but then these are the controversial opinions that won't go out of the edit room.
War.
Yeah,
Prabhas fan war.
yeah. So the ending, which was very, very, very underwhelming ending. And the thing is,
Film by Nag Ashwin.
and Bhairava still doesn't know that Sumati is pregnant. He still doesn't know. Don't you? There is not
No, never.
there's yeah, we never know that.
I just thought he looking at her, he would have understood. Like the body
I don't
changes
think
right
so.
when you're
I
pregnant.
don't think so. The people at the complex didn't find out that like Sumati is
Because she was tying the bandages tightly. So
okay. Maybe. Also, the thing is, the firework sequence which we talked about in the theater.
mhm,
Uh,
mhm.
you didn't like it, but
Why Nag Ashwin?
now that I think of it, like I feel like it's rebirth of Deepika's character, like some 80s character. Like after it's like a rebirth of her character, because after that fireworks sequence, she knows that she is valuable. She's not a robot like trying to
बराबर.
conceive children. She's now a entity who's useful entity. Like, I mean, she feels important. She feels important. Like she feels like she's a human.
I felt it was a parallel of Sita walking to the fire in
Hmm.
Ramayana. So they did that, I felt. But the problem was in this film, Nag Ashwin makes her clothes burn, the upper half, the torso.
Please, nahi baat kar.
That was I felt a bit unnecessary. You were showing like the fire was not touching her directly, but I know it happened, but it wasn't necessary. Like we got the idea what was happening.
Uh,
Unnecessarily making the visual happen. Like
uh,
felt a bit iffy. I don't know.
So also why I say it's a rebirth, because like after that only she gets the name Sumati, right? Because she gets her like her name
Hmm.
and everything. So yeah, that and yeah, Deepika acted well. Like wherever it was needed, Deepika did well. I felt like, I mean, it was a very muted character, but then yeah, she did well with what she had to do. What do you feel? Like they could have like expanded Kamal's character a bit more, don't you think?
I enjoyed it because the ambiguity that was there surrounded, like he's someone and then he transforms. Because if you show him every now and then, what you say, the curiosity and the shape of his face and everything would have gone. Showing glimpses, I enjoyed. But what was his name? Saraswat Chatterjee.
Saswata Chatterjee.
Uh,
Shashwata.
Saswata Chatterjee. So I liked his part. So he was unintentionally funny. I'm not sure if it was supposed to be that way, but then his dialogues and everything. He was unnecessarily dark in the film and he was very funny. But
Yeah, I
also
felt
like the scene wherein they have to go up towards where Kamal Hassan's character is there, like Yaskin. So instead of elevator, they have this
that's
human
beautiful.
statue to
Yeah,
lift.
yeah.
So that is like very inventive way. Like I appreciate Nagashwin for those parts.
That's Nag Ashwin's mind.
But
And
he falls flat on other parts.
yeah, yeah. So also there is a lot of inconsistency as well, like with the world as well. At some places you see a hologram pop up from a wristwatch,
Ah,
and then there's no mention of it anywhere. Like, and also the whole 45-minute fight sequence which
so
happens at the
it
end.
was set up for the pre-interval, the hologram.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
that was a payoff. The setup was in start.
Yeah, yeah,
So that was the intention. I understood that.
yeah. And also there are very inconsistencies with the world they are in. Like they could have used the elements of the world like to
Hmm.
help with the story, but then that falls very two-dimensional as well with the story as well. The fight too, when the fight happens, like the last 40 minutes huge fight, it feels like it's happening in a normal world. You don't feel
Yeah.
that there are elements like
But
fantastical elements.
you don't go inside the war. You watch it from a very wide scale. So that's the problem. Like the way it is shown, you don't go into the drama, human drama of how a person is feeling in the fight. So
Yeah,
I that was a problem. I wasn't feeling anything for the fight.
I didn't like Vijay Devarkonda's
Cameo.
Brunel's character bit felt, I don't know, but she was very odd.
I didn't like that.
I didn't like the character, and also I don't know what was the purpose of the character. I think it was just to kill
It is all for the second part.
it was just to kill Rajendra Prasad's character and her character. Also Annabelle, she was just there to
Ah,
get killed. अरे
she was
मतलब
just there to give a fortune cookie and then die.
sacrificial goat. Every movie has one,
Ah,
right?
it had many. One name, many. It had many.
Yeah, I mean, come
It
on.
had more than Adu Jeevitam.
I think there are a lot of themes like to expand upon and discuss. And for now,
But I don't want to spoil it for everyone. So
exactly.
it's better that you go watch and form an opinion for yourself.
And also this is a beautiful film to watch on the big
Uh,
screen. It's one of
yep.
it's going to be an experience for sure. It's a visual spectacle indeed. And
Also, it is a big leap for
Indian
Indian
cinema.
science fiction film.
Yeah,
Even though if we don't like it, but then still it's a very important film because whatever film that will come after it, it will obviously try to build upon it and make a better film. Like how Bahubali stood there. So
yeah.
this film is gonna make it again.
I
I
mean,
felt that way.
I would like to blame Rajamouli for all these second part
The second
gasms,
part,
sequel gasms. I mean, come on, man. Not everything has to have. I mean, the if we were What we felt was, I mean, I'll not take your name. I don't want to bring any harm to you. So what we felt was, what I felt was, the whole of the first half could have been done in like 15 minutes, and then carry
True,
on
as
with
a
your
backstory.
story and end it on a proper cliffhanger, not an
Hmm.
abrupt end where even the characters don't know, half of the characters don't know what is happening. Like the ending felt like that.
Hmm.
I mean, see, I don't have a huge problem with sequels. Yeah, I do have a problem because we have to wait a lot longer. But then there are
Also, every film is making that, so now it's getting
yeah,
frustrating.
it's getting very, we are getting frustrated with that as well. And also it's not like that, like they are releasing it in 3 or 4 months or half year.
Hmm.
They're taking years to like make a like part two.
But
Yeah,
let's not
Sukumar,
go
we
on
are
a
talking
rant for
about you.
that one.
Sukumar, we are talking
But
about you, man.
let's not rant about that.
There are a
Uh,
lot of things and there are a lot of themes to explore and to
uh,
analyze as well. Though the writing falls short, but then it's a huge spectacle. And the way there are a lot of storylines as well, like going
hmm.
on, and we could do a theory, like theories as well, like what could be part two
Hmm.
and everything.
Yep.
That could be fun. And since our guy is a budding screenwriter, filmmaker,
Let's not go there. Huh?
he could help us. So yeah. So in short, what would you say to a guy like a person who is trying to watch a review of Kalki?
I'll say go to Book My Show and book your ticket
Yeah.
and
तू
watch this film.
ये क्या
Watch this damn film.
ब्रांड प्लग इन क्यों कर रहा है? You could have
Brand
just
plug-in, but then I'm just saying ki go book your ticket and watch this
go
film
watch it. Yeah.
because this is a good film. Like you shouldn't miss.
Yeah.
Even though you would have differing opinions or you would like it, but then it would be an experience.
Yeah, it is going to be a huge 3 hour spectacle. Like
Uh,
you'll feel
so
like
there will be a drag, there will be a this and that, but as a whole general, it would not leave a very great aftertaste, but it would leave a good aftertaste, I would say. Like
yeah.
you would enjoy, like you would say, like Indian film has got into this stage, so I'm proud of it. So I feel proud of this film.
So that's our review for
Hmm.
Kalki.
That was my opinions on Kalki.
Oh, sorry, our opinions on Kalki.
Opinions on Kalki.
Yeah,
Be sure to watch the film and
this is just as chaotic as the first half of Nag Ashwin's Kalki. Yeah, be sure to like us.
share and subscribe and adios.
Adios.
Bye bye.
Tata. Good night. Shabakher.